I watched the Makerfield by-election question time special so that if you didn't, you don't have to. And I was just watching it and I thought, I don't think we actually want what we keep saying we want.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
We keep saying we want normal people in politics, real people, people who understand ordinary life. And then one turns up and we collectively watch him get eaten alive for not performing like a career politician.
Sheriff, he's over here.
God.
So now I'm wondering, do we want real people or do we just want people who are very, very good at pretending to be? And I'm beginning to wonder if question time can even work in the modern political climate. Because this felt like everyone had been given a script, rehearsed it, performed it, and then looked around like, yes, that was a very human interaction we all just had. Sure. Very believable. I mean, the whole thing was basically just the Andy Burnham show. He had absolutely nothing to lose by showing up. And after I watched that, I just kind of think that Makerfield are probably going to vote for Burnham, which is wild given the state of the country and everything. But that's the power of a format like this. Not necessarily to find the best candidate, but to reinforce who already looks like one. Because despite the fact that Burnham's been in politics for 25 years, 25 years.
Thinking I could
Laurels for spring. Groundbreaking.
The whole show was basically a PR drive to make us all like our potential future Prime Minister.
If you start to work like that, and actually I felt my connection with people has improved. And what I would say is that approach, a more collaborative politics, a more, if you like, long-term approach to solving the country's problems needs to be taken from here, Greater Manchester, and taken down there.
Okay.
Fundamental change in Westminster to restore the public's trust.
Now.
And bizarrely, they tried this whole I'm the fresh alternative energy with him. Fresh from where? The archives.
I don't know her.
Looking like all that he was missing was a beret and he'd be doing slam poetry in Manchester about public transport and his emotional journey. Sir, at some point, you are the establishment. You don't get to be 25 years deep and still acting like you've just arrived with a tote bag and a dream and slightly edgy podcast energy, because this felt like a mini general election cosplay. It was basically just a soft launch for Andy Burnham as Prime Minister.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Every answer was big, emotional, national, sweeping. How do we restore trust? What does this say about Britain? What's your vision? So, what about Makerfield? What are your priorities for Makerfield? Just a tiny detail, a little niche concern, local by-election and all that. And then we have Rob from Reform, and I really felt for him. It was a pretty brutal watch, and I don't entirely know why Reform thought that it was wise to put him in a format like this. Yes, he has said some things online, yes. Some of them were not his finest hour. If we say we want normal people in politics, are we actually prepared for what normal people may actually be like? Because the thing that came through loud and clear with this was that polish matters more than ordinary. Every time. Because right now it feels like the only people who could survive politics are the ones who have pre-sanitized their entire personality, pre-approved every opinion they've ever had, and essentially lived their lives as walking PR statements since birth, apparently, which means we will never get real people. And something that I noticed, and I don't really see many people talking about it, is that Rob wasn't just being questioned on his comments alone. He was being asked to answer for the entire party, for the things said by Nigel Farage, for the tone of the party, for everything that the party has been perceived to represent. Why is he the only one doing that? Because we didn't hear the Green candidate being pushed on Zach Polanski's comments about women's breasts. We didn't hear Andy Burnham being asked to answer for Keir Starmer's Island of Strangers comment. There wasn't this same expectation that everyone had to carry the full weight of their party's worst moments. It was just aimed at Rob. Why? Like, the amount of energy directed at him as if Nigel Farage was just hiding under his chair.
Where is the intercom?
Relax. He's not in the room with us. This man is just trying to talk about housing, which, by the way, he was the only one consistently linking immigration to local development, which is quite literally one of the major points of any by-election.
Is that the idea of blaming our housing crisis on immigration is absolutely wild to me, actually.
That says more about you because we've got an extra 10, 20 million people come in the country. Do you think that if an extra 10 million people is going to have an effect on housing?
Do you think that if we lock down our borders, we're going to solve the housing crisis?
Well,
is that going to solve it?
The thing is, the more people you have in a country, the more houses you're going to need. I know it might sound...
He's really good at explaining things like this, isn't he? I'll make sure. Yeah. Using immigration on the issue of housing, I think, is absolutely...
Are you saying it has no impact on housing?
I think Andy wanted to...
Meanwhile, everyone else was out there delivering TED Talks about the soul of the nation, and the audience was absolutely lapping it up. Also, as an aside, can we just talk about the audience for a second? The audience that was in no way biased, was a true reflection of the people of Makerfield, despite the fact that no one there was at all positive towards reform. Because the amount of clapping, the relentless, emotionally committed clapping. For what? These weren't mic drop moments. These were solid GCSE debate answers. Why are we applauding like someone just negotiated world peace? Standards, please, Britain. I'm begging you. Let's just raise them. And then my personal favourite subplot returned to this whole thing, which was Carol Vorderman. Carol Vorderman being dragged into the centre of a by-election just because of Rob's old deleted Twitter account. I'm sorry, but I did not have that on my 2026 bingo card. And at one point, the Green candidate tells us that she spoke to Carol personally. And apparently Carol is watching and wants him to look down the camera and apologise.
I actually spoke to Carol Vorderman this morning. She called me because she is really distressed that you have failed to apologise for any of these comments. So you said
about her specifically?
Her specifically. And she is watching at home tonight. And I wonder if you can look down that camera and say to Carol, you know what? I'm sorry. Can you do that?
Do you know what?
I'm sorry, what? We're doing celebrity call-ins now?
I am a victim of a hate crime.
Is this question time or loose women? I don't think even Shakespeare could have written this level of political drama. But even after all of this, I still don't know what Makerfield are concerned by. Because instead of the audience saying their local concerns, we got this kind of weird national conversation about everything and nothing. Because if you'd watched that programme, and only that programme, you'd probably come away thinking that the main issues in Makerfield were Nigel Farage, a shortage of social housing, some vague infrastructure concerns, and the sexist comments from Rob.
Imagination.
And if those really are Makerfield's biggest concerns, then Makerfield must be the safest place in the country.
This is fine.
Truly. Because where was anything else? Where was women's safety issues? Farming, social cohesion, schooling, or transportation? Like, the actual day-to-day stuff that impacts our lives. Is Makerfield this golden utopia where the only problems left are philosophical? Because that's what Question Time made it look like. And I kept waiting for someone to bring it back to Makerfield to say, yeah, but this is what people actually are concerned about. This is what we're actually dealing with. These are the things that actually matter to us. And it just never really came. And I kind of think that's maybe becoming the point now, because of course, this wasn't really about Makerfield, was it? It was about who looks like a politician, who sounds like one, who knows when to pause, when to smile, and when to clap on cue, and actually who doesn't. and make a show of the people who don't. Because the irony is we keep saying that we want normal people in politics, but the second one shows up, we don't kind of like to listen to what they actually have to say. We just notice how badly they're saying it.
Are we the baddies?
So do we actually want real people in politics? Or do we just want people who are very, very good at pretending to be? But let me know what you think below. And also, let me know if you would run as an MP, and if so, for what party? But perhaps more importantly, what qualities do you think we need from our MPs? What is missing from our current selection? I mean, do we need more career politicians, or should we start encouraging people from all walks of life to get involved, even if they don't perform well on something like Question Time? But as always, let me know what you think below. Did you watch it? What did you think of Rob's performance? I mean, the whole stuff to do with the Green candidate was eye-opening, wasn't it? But as always, let me know what you think below, and do think about giving me a like and subscribe, and I will see you soon.